I recently was blessed enough to be able to travel to Patagonia, a place that many people describe as having otherworldly beauty, a place that gives you the opportunity to reconnect with nature and the outdoors, and most importantly, a place that filled my soul with a very special feeling. And that special feeling, it's hard to describe, but there's something just so great about being all the way out there, kind of in a remote area on the edge of the world, away from all distractions. And you get a lot of clarity from being in an environment like this. You get clarity, and then you also get the opportunity to try to reconnect with yourself. And I feel like that is something we miss out on so much with the hustle and bustle and the everyday grind from our everyday lives. Before this trip, I felt that it was very imperative that I be connected to everyone, everything, at all times. And I've kind of come to realize that, connection with other people, other things, that is not a bad thing. But when you connect yourself to so many different entities, you oftentimes don't even have the capacity to be fully connected to yourself. Patagonia helped teach me that in order to become more connected with ourselves, sometimes we must detach or let go of things of this world. While I was there, I was on a good amount of these long hikes where there was no cell service the entire time, right? So there's no Instagram Reels, there's no checking what's going on at work, there's no checking my email, stuff like that. And that just forced me to be in my head the whole time while I was ascending and descending the hike. Now, I was with a friend, so we did talk a little bit, but for a good chunk of it too, we kind of stayed silent and just thought about life. Yeah. But I'm not going to tell you or stand up here and tell you that I had some sort of monumental thought that changed the trajectory of my life, right? But I was able to kind of assess the motives of my life, assess my dreams, my fears, and just, try to get to know myself better. And it's interesting because we spend so much time getting to know other people. We spend so much time getting to know other things, and we barely spend any time trying to get to know ourselves. But Patagonia provided me an environment to kind of do this. And I think a big part of that was because I was outdoors so much. I feel like that just kind of helped me reconnect with myself, just being outdoors. I wasn't in a crowded office with artificial light, sitting down the entire time. I was out there in this vast, beautiful land with these mountains, canyons, you name it. It was just everywhere. Glaciers. It was just so beautiful. And it's a very cliche thing to say, but spending time outdoors and exploring can just do absolute wonders for yourself. And speaking of exploration, I did a whole lot of that throughout my time in Patagonia. One day I'm seeing these massive glaciers at the base of this huge mountain. The day after that, I'm exploring random lakes in Bariloche. The day after that, I'm literally hiking 7 miles and seeing the Patagonia mountain right in front of me. That was really cool. But I was doing whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. There were no rules. I was making my own rules. And this was a very freeing feeling. And I realized in my everyday life that I never really left any room for exploration. I would always just kind of live within the normal boundaries of life and wouldn't really go past that too much. I would kind of relive the same day over and over and over again. And I realized that I can take this exploration mindset and also apply it to my everyday life back home. And I think this is a great thing to do, right? Like exploration is not just something you do on vacation or in a cool area. You can apply this to anything. For example, like let's say you're a normal person, you have a normal life, a normal job like myself. You can explore a new coffee place. You can explore a new fitness class. You can even explore that random town that's like a 20-minute drive from you. You can go explore that, do a little day trip, right? And who knows, maybe you might discover something that is totally awesome that you would have never discovered had you not actually taken time to explore it. And the last thing I'll mention is that throughout my time in Patagonia, I was in awe a lot. I would see these things that would just leave me absolutely speechless. And I kind of forgot how profound of a feeling it is to look at something and just be left speechless or have something take your breath away because it's so amazing. As we age, it gets harder and harder and harder for us to look at something and be amazed, right? Because we've been on this earth longer, less things amaze us or less things surprise us. But being in Patagonia and just seeing things that are inspiring me left and right, it was really cool. It kind of just made me feel like a kid again. I could just wonder about the world and just be inspired left and right. And I understand that Patagonia, it's one of the most, if not the most, awe-inspiring places in the world. So I was like, all right, let's see if I can bring this mentality back home with me to, where do I live again? Oh yeah, Pennsylvania, out of all places. So I was just trying to look for moments that would inspire me, and I've been able to find quite a few, even in Pennsylvania, out of all places. You know, the other night I was walking, I live by these rivers, I was walking by these rivers, and, you know, the sun was setting, so I just took a moment to kind of look at it, and, you know, it kind of had that orange and pinkish color. It was really beautiful. I wish I had some video so I could show it right now, but I don't think I do, because I was living in the moment, so that's a good thing. But the sun was glimmering, I think that's the term I want to use. It was glimmering on the water, and it was just so beautiful, and I just took like 15 minutes, you know, stayed in that present moment and just was in awe. You know, I was speechless of this beautiful sunset that was happening right by my house. And I really think you can find moments like these in your everyday life, no matter where you live. You just need to be present, and you need to kind of put on the lenses that allow you to be inspired, right? Because if you're going to walk through life and say like, oh, I'm going to let nothing inspire me, then yes, nothing will inspire you. But if you look through life in the lens that I want to spend my day today trying to look for things that will inspire me, inspiration will find you, awe will find you, and you'll be left speechless at many things throughout your day. And it's really a beautiful feeling. And yeah, these were the effects that traveling to Patagonia had on me. And even if you never get the opportunity to travel to Patagonia in your lifetime, there are still things that you can take away from this and apply to your everyday life, even if you're not traveling, to hopefully help you live a more optimistic life and hopefully a more joyful life as well.